Hey gang, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling. Thanks a lot everybody for checking the video out. I really appreciate that. And actually I'm out in the boat right now trying to get some tackle organized. I'm getting ready to leave for the Bassmaster Open at Lake Hartwell, our last Bassmaster event of the season. And it'd be pertinent, I thought it'd be a good idea to do the video on packing tackle, for your fishing. Whether you should simplify it, whether you should have too much, not enough. I'm going to give you sort of a system that's worked really good for me over the years. So anyway, before we get started, just another reminder, if anybody out there is interested in becoming a member of the channel, that's one of the best ways that you can support the content here, what's going on. If you're a member, you get extra videos every week that aren't seen by the public. Some of them have access to my personal email address for your fishing questions. If you're interested, you can sign up for that by just going to the About section on my YouTube page, click on Intuitive Memberships, and I think there's a little banner on the home page at the bottom right. You can just click on Intuitive Memberships for the info there. It's much appreciated. Okay guys, I'm a tackle junkie perfectionist when it comes to packing in the boat. That's one of the things I really get a lot of enjoyment out of fishing tournaments. Is I always loved the preparation part of it. Organizing the boat, getting the tackle packed, putting my hands on the tackle. I really enjoy that process of packing tackle for the boat. And since I've been doing this for over 40 years in tournaments, almost 50 years, I've sort of developed a system a little bit, on the best way to do this. A lot of this has to do, there's two schools of thought on this pack and tackle deal. It's like, number one, a lot of people just want to simplify it. I've heard guys say, well, I'm going to simplify everything this tournament. I'm going to take this and that, and if they don't bite that, then I'm not going to catch them. And then some guys load the boat with tackle, and then some people just sort of in between. And I love looking in people's boats to see how they organize tackle compared to the way that I do it. So I'm pretty confident in my system. First of all, a lot of the way that you pack, it depends on where you're fishing at. Now, if you're fishing, if you're a tournament fisherman, a lot of it depends on the options you have available that could possibly work at a tournament. Because if you have, say for example, if you're going to go fish for smallmouth up north, there's a handful of techniques that you're going to use. You're going to use drop shots, maybe some jerk baits, maybe some top waters, that type of stuff. It's not like you're going to need a ton of stuff. But like here, for me going to Lake Hartwell, I've got to load the boat with tackle because there's no telling what's going to go on there. It's like the hurricane's coming through there. There could be some shallow fish. There's going to be deep fish. There could be fish in 40 foot of water, fish on the top, everywhere. So I've got every compartment of this boat's going to get loaded down with tackle because I don't know what I'm going to encounter over there. I know how I want to fish, but I've got to be prepared for everything else. So much of the tackle that you prepare in your boat is for possibilities that might arise. It could be different weather changes. It could be unexpected conditions in the water clarity that you might have while you're at the tournament or while you're fishing. So you never know what you're going to need. So here's my rule of thought on that. Before you pack for a trip, try to get as much information as you can about the current conditions on the body of the water. Is it stable, or is it low? Is it high? Try to get a feel for the environmental conditions. That's going to help you either pack for that or eliminate some stuff. And every tournament's like that. So you can't bring everything with you. So before you go fishing, you have to calculate in your mind what could possibly work. And not only what could possibly work, but what the things that you want to work. I mean, that's another thing about it. It's like, just because there may be a dozen different ways to catch them on any body of water that you go to at the time, that doesn't mean that you're going to fish all those dozen possibilities. You sort of have some things in your wheelhouse that, you like to fish. So that's where you should really put your effort on. It's just like this tournament coming up at Lake Hartwell. I'm not going to get out there. I don't have a live scope. I'm not going to try to compete with the live scopers. So I have got to find a different group of fish in order to compete with them. So the way I'm packing my boat in this tournament is I'm packing a lot of stuff for the non-suspended live scope type fishing. And I've narrowed it down to that. But that given said, like in this tournament coming up, if that doesn't work, say I practice for half my practice down there and I just can't catch anything like I think I'm going to catch them, I've got to be able to get some bites. So I've got to have something in the boat where I can, you know, switch gears 180 degrees. So from that standpoint, you know, that's a big consideration. I think there's a lot to be said for tackle organization. It's like you can carry a lot of tackle on the boat, but you can be organized at doing that. For a good example is what I'm saying here is like, say for example, you know, you want to do some spinnerbait fishing, and say that you have 300 spinnerbaits. Just pick out a dozen or 15 of your favorite spinnerbaits, put them in a Ziploc bag, throw them in the boat. That eliminates a lot of room. Same with any other thing. You don't have to take like your entire box of something you think might work. Just pick, you know, a couple here and there, and that way you'll have some options. And if they're biting them, you got them. And then, you know, if you need some more, you might be able to have some overnighting wherever you're fishing at. So everybody has a different system on them. I'm sort of all over the board with it. Some tournaments, I've had some tournaments where I've had one box in the boat and 4 rods, and I've had other tournaments where I can't even hardly close the lids on my boat because they're so full of tackle and everything in between. So the point of the video, as far as the advice on packing, there's no rule that fits everybody. You just have to, you know, fit your style of fish and what you like to do. Make sure you're prepared. Make sure you're prepared for all the possibilities, and that's going to give you a lot better chance of catching them when you get out there. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated, and we'll talk to y'all later.